Well, let's welcome you to election time, where we literally count down to the November 1st local government elections. Tonight on Election Time on Prime, we focus on the King Sabata Dalindyebo Municipality. It's situated in the OR Tambo District Municipality in the inland of the Eastern Cape. Now, the municipality was established before the 2000 local government elections, when the Mthatha and Bandile transitional and rural areas were merged. The municipality is largely rural in character, with urban areas concentrated around the towns. The major economic activities are forestry and agriculture, although agriculture is a lot more of subsistence in nature. Well, of course, as always, each candidate will get 2 minutes to make a case on why voters should consider them in the upcoming local government elections. We, of course, have a 2-minute clock that will be counting you down. As soon as that clock goes up, it means your time is up. We'll then follow up with a number of questions to each of the panelists. And for a municipality that, of course, has previously been described as one that is in distress, and unfortunately the situation since that particular classification in 2018 has not gotten better, it has only gotten worse. So let me begin then with the ANC's Zukisa Gana. Mr. Gana, good evening to you, and thank you for your time. You can begin by telling us why you believe the ANC should be a party of choice in this local government elections.
Thank you very much, and greetings to you and our viewers at home, and also the other parties that are here represented today. Well, the African National Congress has done a lot since the advent of local government in KSD, and continues to do a lot in so far as obtaining basic services in a municipality that really is largely rural, as you have said, which means the revenue base of the municipality is quite thin. But we try and do with whatever small resources we have to ensure that we deliver the much needed basic services to our people, which is a basket of access roads, dispute removal, electricity, water services, sanitation, and sewage, and many other issues that we are hard at work doing in the municipality. Obviously, as you have mentioned earlier, we have had challenges around our financial viability as a municipality previously, which issues we have addressed. Some of those issues are related to the general valuation role of the municipality, which had made some of our ratepayers not to be paying well their rates, because they were complaining about issues related to the valuation role. To the extent that in 2016 we had a new association that turned itself to a political party to contest. But as we speak now, those matters have already been fixed. We have also been able to turn around our administration in terms of ensuring that we get more qualified and suitable people in the budget and treasury department, and also to ensure that we increase monitoring and evaluation so far as finance matters are related, and also a revenue enhancement and revenue generation.
All right, Mr. Gana, your 2 minutes is up. Thank you so much for that opening statement. Let me invite then the DA's representative in this panel, Sithembiso Mabasa, to come forward and also make your own party's case for why you should be the candidate or even the party of choice going into this local government election.
Yes, good evening to the viewers, and also good evening to the party representatives that are here. As we all recall that where the DA governs better. Our offer, our track record of action speaks for itself. And the reason that, people should choose DA is because DA has a good track record of good governance, and we promise to do more. We have 7 pillars in our manifesto. Basically one, to get the basics rights, like, delivering water, maintaining roads. And also we will build in KSD world-class roads, including improving the public transport with the world-class roads. A simple example where we govern in Gqwetha Municipality, we've built a road that is made up of plastic that is very, very innovative. And also we will be tough on crime and tougher on the causes of crime. We will definitely ensure that KSD and Mthatha, Coffee Bay, you name it, is a place for investment, and therefore by doing so we will bring jobs. We will also collaborate as to ensure sustainable housing, and we will also adopt a holistic approach in keeping the communities in good health. Sad stories that are happening in Mthatha general. We will therefore address all those issues. And we will also govern in the interest of the people, not in the interest of the greedy politicians. I think the people now have a choice to choose a working government, or to choose the government under the ANC that is failing.
All right.
Because
Mr. Mabasa, your 2 minutes is up. Thank you very much for that opening statement. A lot to dissect. So Mr. Mabasa saying, look at how the DA governs elsewhere. It's an example of what they could potentially do in this municipality. Let me then invite Mr. Paseeka Nontshiza, who is he's with the Mthatha Ratepayers and Residents Association. And of course, this particular association was formed as a response to the inefficiencies of the municipality. We'll get to that in a moment. But Mr. Paseeka, perhaps an opportunity for you to talk about why you should be entrusted with the affairs of that municipality. All right. I don't think that Mr. Paseeka can actually hear me, so we'll try and figure out what is happening with that audio. Joining us on the telephone tonight is the UDM's Bandile Gqwetha, and he's going to be making the case for his party as well. Mr. Gqwetha, the floor is yours.
Let me humble myself to you and the viewers. The United Democratic Movement councils and councillors will make sure that they stipulate local economies by removing red tape that hinders local economic growth, promoting business opportunities. They will also ensure interaction with the communities and be accountable by consulting with the communities about their needs. And it is not the case as we speak. The United Democratic Movement councils and councillors will make sure that they continue to fight for clean and ethical government by clearly defining the separation of powers between the officials without the interference by the politicians or their political offices. It will make sure that the access to essential services by providing equal access of all basic services to all, not to few as it is the case. It will keep people safe and secure, as we know that the criminals are running our municipalities, more especially the King Sabata Dalindyebo. It will repair, build, maintain the infrastructure as it is dilapidated.
All right, Mr. Gqwetha, your 2 minutes is up. Thanks for those opening remarks from you. And of course, he's joining us on the line today. Unfortunately, very poor connection in terms of the quality of connection virtually. Mthatha Paseeka, I know that you have not yet had your opportunity to give your opening statement. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, I'll hopefully be able to kick it off with you. You're watching Election Time on Prime. We'll continue with this conversation. So Zukisa Gana of the ANC says they've been able to turn this municipality around. How have they been able to do it? Is that the sense that all the other political actors in the municipality feel that indeed there has been a change for the better within the KSD municipality? We'll find out when we continue. Well, thanks for staying with Election Time on Prime. We continue our conversation tonight looking into the King Sabata Dalindyebo local municipality. We're joined by the 4 big political organizations and parties there, the UDM, the DA, the ANC, and the Mthatha Ratepayers and Residents Association. So we've heard from all of the parties. We have not heard from the forum, at least in the form of the Ratepayer and Residents Association. Mr. Paseeka, Nontshiza, let me invite you then to give you an opportunity, your 2 minutes, in as far as the opening statement of making a case for why voters should trust you with the running of this municipality.
Good evening to the viewers of Newzroom Afrika. We, as the Mthatha Ratepayers and Residents Association, are of the opinion that there wouldn't be a need for a structure like ours if the ruling party was observing the legal precepts, which are, 1, the culture of community participation. Number 2, the culture of ensuring that everything which is being done for the resident is done with the resident. You will be familiar with the concept of nothing about us without us. But this has led to a situation whereby property owners in the greater area of Mthatha, Bandile, and Kosi Bay, they are not certain about their properties purely because the municipality is imposing high property tariffs illegally. So the municipality continues to feed a middleman, which leads to a situation where ratepayers and residents are paying exorbitant electricity tariffs. But as if that is not enough, Mthatha and all the towns I've mentioned are regarded as the filthiest town in South Africa. That is indicative of a failure of local government. That is also indicative of a failure of a lack of leadership and management. Leadership in this regard would have to be council, which needs to oversight. Council is unable to do that. Management in this regard would have to be directors who, unfortunately, they are purely getting paid.
Mthatha Paseeka, your time is up. We're going to have to leave it there, at least in as far as your 2 minutes to make the opening statement is concerned. But I want to bring you in just from the perspective of an organization by residents that has been started to respond to the challenges in the municipality. Your organization was formed in around 2014, I believe, and then in 2018, you had this municipality being classified at the time by Gqwetha as one of the distressed and dysfunctional municipalities in this country that needed very serious attention and interventions. Would you say the situation since then has become better? Have the issues that led to this municipality being dysfunctional been dealt with? Mthatha Paseeka, if you can answer that question for me.
The situation has actually gotten worse in the sense that the Auditor General's report is damning in as far as not only the finances, but also the level of service delivery which the municipality is unable to render to its ratepayers and to its residents. I don't know whether that answers your question.
Let me get a perspective from the DA's Mr. Sithembiso Mabasa.
Yes, the core function for the local municipality is to provide services to the people. So if the municipality is unable or is failing to provide services to the residents, then you cannot say that municipality is functional. I wouldn't mention, the ages report is already mentioned, and as if you can travel right now to Mthatha, it's potholes right from Mthatha straight to Coffee Bay. Lights are off each time, and people, as it has been mentioned before, they are paying exorbitant tariffs for the electricity through the Mthatha, the Mthatha that is supplying electricity, because people are not buying electricity directly from Eskom. That municipality is in distress and is dysfunctional. And the problem here, the problems that we are mentioning, the spillage of sewer, non-removal of the refuse, is just the symptoms. The problem here is the ANC. The only solution will be to remove the ANC. I can assure you the whole troika has been changed. The mayor has been removed, the speaker has been removed, the chief whip has been removed. Now they have got a new, within this 5-year period. So it shows that there is political instability. So where there is political instability, you cannot expect services at all. Especially when you still have this cater deployment monster.
Thanks for that, Mr. Mabasa. Let me bring in the UDM's Bandile Gqwetha before I give the ANC an opportunity to respond. Mr. Gqwetha, your own reflections on the state of affairs. Mr. Gana began by saying, well, yes, the municipality has had challenges before, but they've been able to turn it around, and the picture today is very different to what it has been previously.
On the 1st July 2021, King Sabata Dalindyebo was amongst the dying municipalities in the Eastern Cape. I don't know what period Mr. Gana referred to. Just less than 4 months ago, it has been mentioned, King Sabata Dalindyebo, as one of the dying municipalities. The problem indicates the political leadership immaturity and the administrative incapacity or the bureaucratic incapacity. Those are the problems that led to these municipalities to always get the qualified, audit reports in the past years in this term. So I don't know when this Mr. Gana referred to, because it's one of the dying municipality, and if he is not accepting that, they won't be able to correct that. In fact, it is not the municipality that is dying. The ANC also it's a dying organization as we speak.
Mr. Gana, it's a damning critique from some of those who are in the benches of the opposition and who also, of course, would occupy some space, at least as part of the council. What is your response to what they've had to say?
Thank you very much, ma'am. Firstly, one would have expected a better critique from those who are participating in council, at least to be factual, at least about some of the issues. For instance, Mr. Nontshiza would know that all the issues that related to the general valuation role that were being raised by ratepayers, those matters have since been addressed to the extent that the Mthatha Ratepayers Association, through Councillor Malgas, who's their representative in council, is on record having noted and adopted the newly presented and adopted general valuation role in council. So that matter has been addressed. Also, it would also be of interest to us when the DA comes here and says that it runs the municipality's best. I was in Gqwetha because I also happen to be a provincial secretary of the White Side in the Eastern Cape. In Gqwetha municipality, in Ward 8 particularly, Jeffreys Bay, I have sent to Mr. Mhlaba, but he said it's late, videos of just how much potholes are there in that municipality, which is a very small municipality compared to us. Our challenges in the municipality remain, particularly, ma'am, the issue of peri-urban areas that remain in informal settlements. Hence, in the manifesto of the ANC, upgrading of informal settlements is part of the priority, because in areas that are not formalized yet, where we're not able to generate revenue and be able to fund the services of resource removal appropriately, these are some of the areas where you would see illegal dumping. We have done a lot of work as part of putting up boards to try and make awareness about illegal dumping, but this is an issue that continues to be a thorn to us insofar as illegal dumping is concerned. But obviously, we are hard at work around ensuring that waste management is not just only about resource removal, but also tapping into the waste economy insofar as ensuring that we also are getting into the recycling space. We do have a waste transfer station nearby Coffee Bay.
How do you explain some of the difficulties that the municipality is sitting with, particularly when it comes to that ESCOM bill and how it has been building over the years?
Thank you very much, ma'am, for that one. We have been paying quite very well the ESCOM bill, and actually we had been in arrears in previous years. But as things stand, ma'am, we are close to finishing that ESCOM bill. But on top of that, as a municipality, first and foremost, the DA rep here is really outdated, because we no longer have a company called Mthatha. I wonder whether they don't get a report from their reps. That company left the municipality since about 2005. We now deliver electricity directly by ourselves as a municipality. On top of that, we are hard at work trying to produce electricity from waste to energy, from hydroelectric, Mabasa power station. These are attempts to decrease. Let me finish, ma'am. These are attempts to decrease the cost of electricity so as to bring down the price. Because as we know, with the challenges that we have been having across the country, insofar as ESCOM is related, prices of coal and other issues that have pushed up the price for residents of the country across everywhere. So this, we have then to try and have a broadened energy mix, such as waste to energy, hydroelectrical.
All right, Mr. Gana, I'm going to have to interrupt you there, because I also have to give the other panelists an opportunity to weigh in. Mr. Paseeka, so on the issue of the rates, you of course had largely been raising the cost of increase in property and ratepayers not being satisfied with the kind of delivery that you are getting. Does that position remain the same to date?
Sorry, ma'am. Would you allow me to respond? Because these issues that were being raised were raised to us as a governing party, not to the wannabe governing party.
They were raised to what?
The issues that were being raised, they were raised about our governance as a governing party, not to the wannabe governing party.
Yes, but so Mr. Gana, I've given you an opportunity to respond. I've given you an opportunity to respond to those concerns. Unfortunately, we don't have an hour for this conversation. We've got very limited time.
The issue, ma'am, is that we are not responding based on some emotion or some fucking. We must give detailed responses because we are government. We're not wannabe government.
Yes, but you also need to be mindful of the time.
Come again, ma'am?
I'm saying you also need to be mindful of the time. I appreciate your need to add detail, but the reality is that we don't have a lot of time for the conversation.
I'm saying it would be good, ma'am, it would be good that as we're mindful of time, when you give opposition party, you give them time and be able to allocate sufficient time for the governing party to respond. Because you can't give us equal time as if we've got equal responsibility. Our responsibility as the ANC is much more bigger than this opposition party. Okay. So we deserve much more time to explain ourselves.
Mr. Gana, I think you've made your point. You've made your point. We can leave it there. And the reality is that much of what you are saying is in dispute. But you've been given ample time to make the point that you wanted to make. So from the perspective of the Ratepayers Association, I want to find out from you, you know, you come into an election cycle, as you've just heard from Mr. Gana. Basically, he believes because they're the big players, you know, they own the space effectively, and therefore players like you don't deserve much of a chance to be heard because you're not the government in power. How difficult does that make your job in council?
From the fact that when we entered the foray, one of the things we did was to try and lobby all people who are purportedly governing on our behalf. And I was put here to a resolution which was taken in 2014 by the former Chief Founder, Mr. Mthatha, where he moved to the ASC Council that they must see a resolution which is scientifically integrated.
Mr. Paseeka, unfortunately, I can't hear you very well. The connection to you has deteriorated, so I'm struggling to make out what you're saying. So unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there because I'm really struggling to hear part of what you're saying. So we actually need to get ready to start wrapping up the conversation. So I'll get the final words then from the candidates. Let me begin with you, Mr. Mabasa. Perhaps your final reflections as the DA.
I'm very happy, to the viewers. You've just seen the conduct of Mr. Gana. That's the kind of people that you put to govern you. If he can't be in order in such a public platform, how do you expect him or his council to be in order to be able to govern? So that's the kind of of the ruling party that people have made mistake to vote for. I beseech people that they must vote for the DA because the DA gets things done. As I said, the top 10 municipalities that are doing well are DA-governed municipalities, and the worst performing municipalities are ANC municipalities.
All right,
so
Mr. Mabasa. Thanks for those closing comments. The UDM's Bandile Gqwetha, this is your opportunity perhaps to also give us your parting shot.
The arrogance demonstrated by Mr. Gana is the arrogance they demonstrate in the council. 889 million in a regular expenditure has been not recovered by an ANC-led local municipality, that is the KST, and unauthorized expenditure, 473.7 million, has not yet recovered by ANC corrupt King Sabata Dalindyebo municipality. So, I mean, people must vote for UDM if they want to get out of this corrupt system led by the African National Congress.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gqwetha, on behalf of the UDM. Mr. Gana, on behalf of the ANC, your closing remarks?
Thank you very much, ma'am. We are certain that creating jobs and sustainable economic opportunities for youth is especially urgent. This is why we will be stepping fast issues such as the Mthatha SEZ, the milling plant to step up our agriculture. This is why we are going to be moving ahead with our new neighborhood development partnership grant that will see all our streets that are in the CBD, that used to have potholes being revamped, and many other issues. As the ANC, we admit that progress has not been sufficient. We are working hard to fix these problems. Since the advent of democracy, the ANC has made great progress in meeting basic needs and improving the provision of education, healthcare, and other services like electricity and water. Let us work together to put municipalities on a better footing and better develop communities.
All right.
We are indeed, thank you very much, ma'am, for your time, and let's all go and vote for the ANC for better municipalities.
All right, Mr. Gana. Thanks for that. Mr. Paseeka, I don't know if you can still hear me, but I also want to give you an opportunity perhaps to give us your concluding remarks.
This is a time for the ratepayers and the residents of the King Sabata that if they don't vote what they are running
All right. Unfortunately, Mr. Paseeka, we're going to have to leave it there. We're really struggling to hear you and to make out what you are saying to us in this conversation. But that's where we'll leave it for tonight with the UDM, the DA, the DA rather, the ANC, and the Mthatha Ratepayers and Residents Association.